A practical piece, quick to make, and a great seller. This is the mini crochet wallet. I'm Tata Gardini, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make this beauty. Step by step, even if you're a crochet beginner. It's a practical piece, perfect for storing cards and documents. And at the end of the video, I'll also show you how to sew on the buttons in a super practical and simple way. And you'll handle this with ease. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click here and subscribe so you don't miss anything about crochet. And to help you out, I've already left all the suppliers and links here in the video description. So click on the description and you'll find all the suppliers for the materials I used in this lesson. Now leave a like on the video, grab your yarn and your hook, and let's crochet together. Alright, let's get started then. For this lesson, I'm going to use polyester yarn here. This one it's 3 millimeters from Melia, okay? It's 100% polyester yarn, 3 millimeters from Melia. All the suppliers, the links to all the materials, I'll leave them here. In the video description, I'll also be using a hook here. This one is 3.5 millimeters and a measuring tape. Alright, so we can measure here, and a lighter, okay? I'll also use 2 magnetic buttons. The ones I'm using here are 14 millimeters. Alright, everything is in the video description, so let's get to the lesson. I'm going to start by taking my yarn and making a slip knot. And with this yarn, it came out to the equivalent of 16 chains, okay? With a 3 millimeter yarn, alright? So 1, 2. We begin our count with 3, followed then by 4, moving steadily to 5, and then 6, continuing on to 7, 8, and 9. We reach the milestone of 10, proceeding further to 11, then 12, and 13. We keep going to 14, followed by 15, and finally concluding this sequence with the number 16. So 16 chains, which is approximately 10 centimeters, okay? The reason I'm measuring is because if you're using yarn of a different thickness, you can check until you get about 10 centimeters. Just keep making chains until you reach about 10 centimeters, alright? I made it here with this yarn and did 16 chains as well. Because actually it would be 15 chains plus 1 for turning. When I go to make mine, I'll grab one that I already have finished here. Look, when I made this flap, right, for the mini wallet, I added 5 stitches here, 5 to make this curve and 5 more here. That's why it totaled 15. So 15 plus 1 turning chain, 16, okay? And with this 3 millimeter yarn, it ended up being approximately 10 centimeters. But you can make 10 centimeters using a 5 millimeter yarn, for example, and then you see how many chains you'll need in total, right? And from there, you divide by 3, okay? To make these parts here. So let's go. Now I'm going to work on the back side of the chains, okay? I always skip the first one. I'll go into the second one, see? These little loops that form back here. I'll go into the second one. And I'll yarn over, lift it a bit, and make a single crochet. I go to the next one. Yarn over and make a single crochet. I'm going to make single crochets here on the back side of the chains, stitch by stitch, until I get all the way to the end. I've reached the end here, all my single crochets done. Now I'll chain 1 to turn my work, okay? And now look, here we have the row of chains that we just made with our stitches, see? And on the bottom there are also the chain patterns. I'm going to skip this first one always and go into the second one right in the middle, pick up a loop, just one, and on the bottom I'm also going to pick up just one loop, which is the one here on the top right here, see? It's the one I can see from this side, see? I go into this one and pick up just one loop from it. Then I yarn over, pull through both, and finish a single crochet here. I go to the next one, insert in the middle, pick up just the loop here, and go to the other one and pick up just one loop as well. Yarn over, pull through both, and finish a single crochet. This is the single crochet. Double, okay? Because we pick up one from here and one from there. So look, I pick up a loop from here, a loop from down here, yarn over, pull through both, and finish a single crochet here. Look, I'm going to do this for all of them until I get to the end. I have reached the end here just to show you that this last chain also needs to be done. See? On both sides, there's a chain. See? I pick up from this side, and here I also pick up from the other side. Look. If you don't do the last one here, it will end up crooked. So you need to pay close attention because it looks like there's no stitch, but there is one there. See, it turned out nice and straight. And here we chain one to turn. And now just keep going like this, always skipping the first and going into the second, right in the middle of it. And here, look how it shows up. Now all these loops will show up. See, these little loops that appeared here. So I come and grab this little loop here, yarn over, pull through both, and finish the stitch. I go to the next one on this side and insert here as well. See? Now two little loops have appeared here, and from now on these two little loops will always show up here. Look. But you only pick up this one. You don't pick up this other one here, okay? I'll even take my needle out. Look, you don't pick it up, just one. And then we yarn over and keep making the stitches. So from now on, we're always going to do it the same way, see? So rows go back and forth in this same way, picking up one loop on one side, picking up this loop that forms here, being careful not to pick up the other one. And keep going until you reach the end. Back and forth, okay? All of these here, look, stitch on top of stitch. Look, so we're going to do these rows back and forth until you reach a length of approximately here, look, 21 centimeters, okay? That approximately will depend on the size you want. Your little wallet, your mini wallet. For example, like this. Look at this one here, see? Afterwards, we're going to fold everything. Just right. That's why I said approximately 21 centimeters. And now we're going to do the following. Look. When I finish the last row, when I reach my 21 centimeters, I'll chain one to turn. And in this part, what are we going to do? This little strap here on the mini wallet, okay? Here's how we're going to do it. Look. I'm going to skip the first one, right, and go into the second. And so at the beginning, I said that I made 15 chains plus 1, right? 16, which is the turning chain. So I have 15 stitches here, right? I'm going to count 5 stitches. So I come here, look, I skip the first one, go into the second, and do it as if I were doing it normally. See? Stitches. 1. Number 2. Number 3. That is 4 and 5 stitches completed. Now I'm going to carefully make 5 separate chains, counting them out as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These chains will eventually become our little decorative strap right here for the flap of the project. I am going to go ahead and make it right now, ensuring each stitch is even and secure as we progress through this specific part of the pattern. Yes, because I have to skip 5 stitches from the base. So come here. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to start my stitches in the 6th one right here. So I go in and continue with single crochets. 1, the 2, 3, 4, and the last one here, which is always a bit hidden, 5. Okay? I made my little strap. Now I go to the next row. I make 1 chain to turn. And in the next row, we're already going to finish and do the edging. How am I going to do it? I skip the first one, go into the second, insert just like we've been doing. Look, I go in here, yarn over. But look, instead of finishing a single crochet, I'm going to finish a slip stitch here because I'm already going to start doing the edging. So I'm going to go into the stitch here and make a slip stitch. My hook slipped. Let's do it again. Look. I go into the stitch, yarn over, and make a slip stitch. I go to the next one, yarn over and make a slip stitch. I go to the next one and make a slip stitch. Until I get here, that's a total of 5 stitches. I've reached my little loop. I'm going to make 10 single crochets inside the loop. So first I am going to yarn over carefully, and then I will make 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that I have 4, I will continue just like this, and I keep adjusting the individual stitches by pulling them firmly over here toward the corner. 5, 6, and 7. Then I pull them again right here. 8, 9, and finally 10. I am making sure to complete a total of 10 stitches in this section so that the final piece looks exactly like this when you are finished. A little arched, okay? And now I always keep it tucked away here. I grab this little loop to start the stitch and keep making my slip stitches. 1, number 2, and 3, 4, and the last one, which is always hidden, 5. So why is that? Why did we start with 15 chains? Because I wanted to do 5, 5, and 5, okay? And it turned out to be the ideal size, right? It measured 10 centimeters, the perfect size for me to put here later, see? After I sew on the buttons and put it here, it fits perfectly. Driver's license, documents, cards, all fit, right? All in this size. If you're using a 5mm yarn and want to make 15 chains plus 1, that's fine. It will just end up a little bigger than mine. It won't be 10 centimeters, it'll be a little more than 10 in the initial chains because the 5mm yarn is thicker than the 3mm one, obviously, right? But that's not a problem, there's no rule. You can make it whatever size you want. Your little bag can be whatever size you like, okay? This is the ideal size to fit a document, a driver's license, a card, but nothing stops you from making it bigger. I just don't recommend making it smaller than the 10 centimeters of the initial chains because otherwise it might not fit later. Documents and cards, okay? It will end up smaller. So that's it. Now here, look, I'm going to go into these 2 loops here on the side and make a slip stitch just so I can cut my yarn. And now I'm going to hide it right here. So take a look. I'm going to hide it here, look, on the wrong side. How do I know which is the wrong side? Because our flap here has the stitches all nice and neat. If I turn it over, look at the wrong side of the stitch. See the wrong side of the stitch? So this is the wrong side. So I come here and hide my yarn inside these stitches here on the wrong side, okay? I just take my needle and hide it right here. Look, I just hide everything, then burn the tip. In the same way, we're going to do it here. Look, I'm going to hide it here, very close to the bottom part here. Look, I'm going to yarn over the hook and then carefully pull it through. Cut it, right? And with polyester, we need to burn the tip. We don't use glue, but we burn it because it will melt, and I give it a little tug like this and press it. It goes inside and look how it turns out, okay? It goes inside and doesn't come loose because it sticks the yarn there since we melt it. I'm going to do the same thing on this side so we can start folding and sewing the sides. So we're going to fold it. Look, remember it's on the wrong side of the stitches. I'm going to fold it. Look, I fold it and leave it here. And the fold is at exactly the right size. With approximately 8 centimeters, okay? That's my fold. So you fold it there and leave this fold at about 8 centimeters. Because when I close the top part, look, it'll fit perfectly, okay? And here we'll put the button later, the snap button. And so you don't get lost. So you don't get lost and your seam stays straight. Look, use these stitches as a guide. See how the stitches, they're all straight, look. Nice and straight, nice and straight. If I fold it, look, I'll use this stitch as my reference. So I know I need to sew on this side and on this side and keep it straight, okay? Otherwise, if I put one side up here and the other side down there, on the side seam, it'll end up crooked, okay? So fix it up there, look. You can even pin it so you don't get lost. Put a stitch marker here, look. On one side and on the other. But pay attention to the line I mentioned here, okay? Pay attention to the line. Make sure everything is nice and straight here, okay? And we're going to sew the side. I'm not going to sew it inside out and then turn it right side out. Remember, look, I did turn the piece. This here is the right side. I turned it inside out so I could make the fold. Because when I make the fold, after I do this, the right side will be facing up, okay? And I sew the side seam here with it on the right side. Right side. I'm not going to turn the piece right side out afterwards. And it looks really beautiful, and I'm going to show you now. First, I'm going to need an awl, right? These upholstery needles, look at this. Mine doesn't have a point, it's just a little, it doesn't have a point. And I'm going to measure out a length of thread that will let me sew this part, pass it underneath here, and then sew the other side as well. So I don't have to sew here, tie it off, then come over here and do the other one and tie it off again. So I just do it all at once. I come here, look, I measure this part twice. I measure out enough thread here to go just underneath, and here I measure 2 more times. It's just a little bit extra, but I leave it just in case, you know. I need a little more thread, so I take out a bit more just to be sure. Here I'm just going to burn it a little bit, just enough so I can thread the needle. The thread goes inside my needle here. Look, I just threaded it, okay? And now I start sewing. Guys, look, I come right here, see? This is where I need to start. So I'm going to make about 2 or 3 stitches here so I can finish it off later on the back, okay? I leave a little piece of thread which will trim neatly later to finish it off. And here I already start, see, I go through this side and then through the other side. See? I pull it. I'm going to take it out because now I know it's right here. I'm going to go around one more time and go through where I already went. Go through the same spot here just to secure it well, right there, okay? Here. And now I bring my thread over here, see? And you see that there's a pattern here. It looks like a little stitch. Look, the little V here. I go into these two little loops here which make a little V. And here too through both loops, okay? On one side and the other. I pull it through, adjust it, no need to tighten too much. I bring the thread back like this. I come here to the next little stitch, see, the next little V. And I go into the next one. Little V here too. Look. And I keep sewing along, I go back, then into the next V, and the next V. And I come C. As you can see, my seam is turning out really nice and clean, and the best part is that we don't even need to turn the entire piece inside out. We are going to sew the piece exactly just as it is right now. We definitely don't do it on the wrong side of the fabric. Now I'm going to carefully go under these specific stitches here. Stitches, look, just underneath. See my needle going under there, look. I go underneath until I finally reach the far end of the other side. Once I get to the other side, I keep doing the same thing. I pick up from one side the little V, then from the other side. I pull the yarn through, pick up a stitch here, a stitch on the other side. Pull the yarn through. And like this, guys, I keep going until I get here, okay? Now, look right here. I have finally reached the end. And I am going to pass the yarn through here as well. So I can hide it here, finish it off, and be done, okay? I burn it here, see? And pull. When I pull, it goes inside, see? On the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. Look, I give it a little tug, cut it. Burn it a bit, it will melt, see? I pull and it hides inside. Look at that, just look. It looks really nice. And now you just have to fold it, right? Our brim. And sew the little button here on both sides. We're going to sew the button to finish it off. So what do I use? I use a regular sewing needle, okay? And this thread, which is a 0.20 millimeter nylon, all right? 0.20 millimeters. I'll leave this skein here. In the video description, the supplier, because guys, it lasts a long time and this thread is really strong, okay? I haven't had any problems. I bought it a while ago and I've never had a customer complain about the button coming off. Everything's just fine. It's really sturdy. Even though it's thin, it becomes invisible. Look, it's invisible, but it's really good. So everything is here in the video description for you, all right? So I take my 14 millimeter button, right? Because this mini small card, I'm going to put it here on one side. Look, I put it on one side and then I start sewing here. I just sew right here. Look, that's it. What do I do here with my buttons? Every time I like this button that you sew on because I think it stays much more secure on the piece. And what do? I make about 5 stitches in each of its holes. So right here we have 1, 2, 3, look closely, 4, and finally 5. We have exactly 5 stitches now, and starting from this point, so that I don't have to go through the trouble of cutting the thread and starting over, I'm just going to carefully go in right here through the existing stitches, passing directly through my thread. Just look at how I use the needle, and then I will come out right at the very top. And I start sewing here. Also, again, here, look, 5 more stitches. Look at that. And that's how I do it. Then I go over there, see? To the other side, all with the same thread, see? You never need to cut, all with the same thread. Now, I start here again, see? See? And I keep sewing, guys. That's how it's done. I sew this one, then I come here with the other. I sew the top part of my other button on the same line here. And underneath, you're going to sew. Then you're going to fold it like this, right? You're going to fold it and see where it lines up here, okay? Then you'll place your button on the side. Right, for the love of God, don't sew it wrong, because I've sewn it wrong before too, and I had to take it out, undo all the stitching. Place it, and like this, you'll continue. For example, it ends up here, see? Then you'll continue. Do you see that the line of our stitch has a straight line? So you just follow it. Look, it lines up with this line. You bring the other one along the straight line. And sew it right there in the corner. Just sew it. I'll finish mine here and we'll be right back to wrap things up. And here is the result. I've already taken the opportunity to put my label here, okay? This label here is also sewable, made of acrylic. And the wrist strap, which is also an option. Look, I'll leave the link here for you. This strap, guys, is for you to use like this as a mini wallet, really, for those who like to carry it hanging, right? On the arm like this. My clients really like it. So I'll leave the link here for you. I found a really great price. Everything is here in the description, okay? Look here at the sewn buttons. Everything fits perfectly here, see? The document, right? Document and cards, okay? So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. Kisses. See you in the next video.